The United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization highlights in its latest report significant progress Venezuela has made in food security despite the economic U.S. war. In Bolivia, commemorative events for the country's bicentennial continue on Tuesday with the presentation of the book Second Centennial of Bolivia, 1925-2025. And the World Health Organization said Tuesday it has provided Gaza with 36 trucks of medical supplies and one cold chain truck with 12 pallets of blood since August 1st. Hello and welcome to From the South. I'm Alejandra Garcia from teleSUR Studios in Havana, Cuba. We begin with the news. In its latest edition of the State of Food Security and Nutrition in the World, the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization highlights significant progress Venezuela has made in food security despite the economic U.S. war. In just 3 years, the prevalence of undernourishment index shows a sustained decline, dropping from 17.6% to 5.9%. Between 2016 and 2024, Venezuela implemented a public policy that had a notable impact. Food availability increased by more than 500%. According to the latest data, currently about 3.3 Venezuelans are no longer suffering from hunger, and the organization stated that Great Agro-Venezuela mission seeks to advance the production of high-quality food to achieve 100% food self-sufficiency in Venezuela and export surpluses, transforming the country into an agri-food powerhouse. The president of Venezuela, Nicolás Maduro, announced that the country's economy had grown by 7.71% in the first half of 2025. The Venezuelan president emphasized that the country had experienced 17 consecutive quarters of growth, driven by key sectors such as hydrocarbons, mining, and trade. He also emphasized that despite the financial blockade imposed by the United States, Venezuela has consolidated itself as the economy with the greatest advance in the region. He also affirmed that a new, robust and balanced model based on national productivity had been built, successfully diversifying the economy through non-oil exports.
Esta confrontación geopolítica con el imperio sigue liderando el crecimiento de Sudamérica en lo que
Venezuela continues to lead South America's growth in the first half of 2025. As we know, the first two quarters registered growth of 9% and 6.65% respectively.
Por datos estadísticos, de manera preliminar, un crecimiento para el primer semestre.
Based on this, we can estimate a preliminary growth of 7.71% in Venezuela's gross domestic product for the first half of the year. People are upset, I would say, but the report doesn't mention that. People are upset because we continue to grow.
In Bolivia, commemorative events for the country's bicentennial continue. On Tuesday, the book Second Centennial of Bolivia 1925-2025 was presented. Writer Magdalena Cajías was responsible for the presentation at the Matilde Casasola Plurinational Center for Culture and the Arts. In this regard, the director of the Center for Socio-Community Research, Julio Álvarez Quispe, assured that this book is a critical contribution to the historical, political, economic, social and cultural thinking of the country. The book is a work of collective reflection that seeks to reinterpret Bolivian history from a plural, decolonizing perspective. Bolivian President Luis Arce hosted his Honduran counterpart Xiomara Castro in Sucre, strengthening ties of friendship and collaboration. The Honduran president is currently in the country to take part in the celebrations for the 200th anniversary of Bolivia's independence. During the bilateral meeting, both heads of state reaffirmed the historic ties of friendship, cooperation and solidarity that unite Hondurans and Bolivia, and discussed key issues for the region such as the emancipation of Latin American peoples, social justice, democratic processes in Latin America and regional economic stability, and the historical legacy of independence movements. During his television program, Con Maduro Más, Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro welcomed the 200th anniversary of Bolivia's independence.
Día 6 de agosto, o sea, dentro de 2 días.
On August 6th, that is, in today's, 200 years ago, at the request of the people of Upper Peru, in a deliberative assembly in the city of Sucre, which is a beautiful city, the constitutional capital of Bolivia, but also the capital of Chuquisaca, which is a very beautiful region of Bolivia. On a day like August 6th, 200 years ago, the decision was made to found the Republic of Bolivar in homage to the magnificent work of liberation of the entire continent by the liberator.
And now we have a short break coming up, but first remember you can join us on TikTok at teleSUR English, where you'll find news in different formats, news updates and more. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back to From the South. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum presented on Tuesday a rescue plan for the state-owned petroleum corporation Pemex that seeks to reduce debt and dependence on the Ministry of Finance and Public Credit. Together with officials from her cabinet and experts from the energy and financial sectors, the president presented the comprehensive capitalization and financing strategy for Pemex 2025, which aims to guarantee the economic viability of the oil company. Sheinbaum asserted the proposal aims to create a sustainable and independent company which can operate with its own resources by 2027. In addition, among the objectives presented in the plan are the production of 1.8 million oil barrels daily, relaunch the petrochemical industry, take advantage of the new oil deposits, and advance in clean energy such as solar and wind. The National Electoral Council of Honduras put an end to the institutional crisis that paralyzed the timeline leading up to the general elections of November. Precisely, the electoral body agreed by unanimous vote of its 3 members to modify the conditions for the implementation of the election's preliminary results transmission mechanism, TREP. The authority affirmed that the agreement was the product of institutional dialogue, which prioritized the interest of the country, confidence in the process, social peace, and technical certainty of the results, and emphasized the decision marks the overcoming of a complex stage. The presidential candidate of the Honduran Free Party, Rixi Moncada, denounced a defamatory campaign against her driven by religious organizations. The candidate pointed out that sectors of the Evangelical Fellowship and the Episcopal conference are misinforming the people by assuring that she will close churches if she wins the presidency. In that sense, she stressed that it is a lie that only seeks to generate fear and rejection of her political project, and asserted that this narrative is part of a systematic strategy of political interference. Moncada reiterated her respect for all religious expressions and stressed that faith should not be used as an electoral weapon or to divide the Honduran people. Colombian Senator Maria José Pizarro officially launched on Tuesday her presidential bid for the 2026 presidential elections. From Bogotá, Pizarro announced her intentions to consolidate her position as the leader of the historic PACT political coalition, with an agenda focused on peace, social and environmental justice. In this regard, she urged the Colombian people to join her campaign, with which she seeks to write a new chapter in history with a commitment to new opportunities and a dignified life. Pizarro will participate in the presidential consultation of the Colombian Historic Pact to take place next October.
La próxima presidenta de Colombia, un fuerte aplauso para ella.
The Constitutional Court of Ecuador has partially suspended laws promoted by President Daniel Noboa. The decision temporarily invalidates substantial parts of the National Solidarity Law, the Intelligence Law and the Public Integrity Law. While Noboa's administration and the National Assembly rejected this decision, social sectors and legal experts described this provision as necessary to prevent violations of fundamental rights. The legislative bloc of the Citizens' Revolution movement described the ruling as an important precedent and shows the irresponsibility with which the Assembly, the entity that approved the initiatives, is being conducted. In Uruguay, several trade unions called for a 24-hour strike for August 12th. The general strike will be held under the slogan "More work, more pay," with the participation of primary and secondary school teachers. In addition, the dairy sector will also join the general strike following the announcement by the company Lactalis to close the Cardona plant in the department of Soriana, affecting over 150 families. Previously, the cloudy dairy industry announced 50 layoffs, which led to the start of the conflict in the dairy sector. And we have a second soul break coming up. Before we invite you to visit our Facebook page at teleSUR English, there you'll be able to watch our top stories, special live coverage and much more. Follow our page and activate the notification button to stay up to date on the world's most recent events. Fana short break. Don't go away. Welcome back to From the South. The World Health Organization said Tuesday it has provided Gaza with 36 trucks of medical supplies and one cold chain truck with 12 pallets of blood since August 1st. According to the international body, the deliveries included essential medicines, trauma and surgery supplies, treatments for non-communicable diseases, and laboratory and water testing supplies. The organization said the supplies will be transported to health facilities in the coming days. Israel's blockade and military offensive has made it nearly impossible to safely deliver medical and food aid inside the territory, contributing to its slide towards famine. Under heavy international pressure, last week Israel announced measures to let more aid into Gaza, which aid groups say are far from sufficient.
In collaboration with UAE, WHO received 11 trucks of medical supplies. Those medical supplies including medications for children, including surgical disposable items, as well as some medications for the NCD patients. We are looking for more collaboration and continuous support from UAE mission.
In the United States, President Donald Trump threatens to increase tariffs against India to its economic ties with Russia. The U.S. head of state warned that in the next 24 hours he could impose tariffs of more than 25% on Indian products. Trump emphasized that New Delhi buys Russian oil and accused the country of supporting the war machine. For its part, India described Washington's statements as unfair and unreasonable while defending its energy strategy, arguing that the purchase of Russian oil is a necessity imposed by global market conditions. On Tuesday, the European Union announced the suspension of its retaliatory tariffs on goods imported from the United States, a measure that comes after the regional bloc struck a deal with Washington last month.
Yes, I can confirm that the Commission has today adopted the necessary legal procedures to suspend the implementation of our EU countermeasures, which were due to kick in on August 7th. This is done by the urgency procedure, so basically what it means is that the Commission adopts. It should be published in the official journal already today, I am told, and then within a 2-week framework, our Member States will give their approval by simple majority.
The United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, warned of the worsening humanitarian crisis in Syria. The organization expressed its concern about the deteriorating situation in the West Asian country amid enormous unmet needs and worrying shortage of funding. The international agency announced that of the $488 million requested for its operations in the Arab country, it has barely received 25%, putting at risk the continuity of essential services for millions of people, particularly children. The agency also stated that 15.4 million people continue to be exposed to the danger of mines and other explosive remnants of war, and stated that this number will increase following the return of more than 1.6 million internally displaced persons to their places of origin. Like this, we have come to the end of this news brief, but you can find these and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net, and join us on social media. We are on Facebook, X, Instagram, Telegram and TikTok as well. For Telesur English, I'm Alejandra Garcia. Thank you for watching.